Hello and welcome back to Albion Online. As you all know, I recently did a guide and I asked some of my more experienced Albion playing friends what they thought of it, and most of them were actually quite impressed. They said mostly good things, but there were a few things that they said that I could definitely improve on. And one was the title, which probably wasn't a very well thought through thing, and two was it was just too long. And half an hour, 30 minutes to sit through listening to me blathering on probably is a little bit long. So I thought, what can I do then? It's hard. Albion's such a big game. It's hard to sort of cut it down into a very short video. So I thought the best thing is to just do a video of 10 tips. And I was thinking what I could do is every week I would do 10 tips to Albion. So without further ado, welcome to Tuesday's top 10 tips. Okay, so tip number 1. Here we are in a black zone random dungeon, and if you're a new player, you probably don't know that after 90 seconds, once you've entered the dungeon, the entrance to the dungeon will shut. So what you need to do is either use your phone for a 90-second timer, count to 90, or you can simply use the logout and wait for this to for 90 seconds to go on this. One thing you've got to remember though is if another player comes in, that timer starts again, so you'll have to start that timer again. If a player comes in and leaves, then it's going to be another 90 seconds. Tip number 2. So you've completed your tier 6, in this case it was black zone dungeon, and you've got mega loot. Well, in this case I actually did get pretty good loot. Look, 600k plus what we already got. I'm very happy with that. So, in this sort of situation, sometimes you think, damn, I don't want to risk it. I'm in a black zone. I don't want to risk that loot trying to get it back with all those gankers about. So, there is a safe option. So we mount up, and then we hit the journey back. Now, that will cost us silver. You can see in this occasion, it's going to cost us 55,000, but we're just thinking, right, we don't want to risk that. We don't want to risk our loot, so we're going to do it. So you channel, I think it's for 15 seconds, and then you'll be ported back to the last safe zone that you visited. So that's it. We're safe. So that's another tip. Tip number 3. Right, these are solo dungeons in the roads. Now these are very different to the random dungeons in black zones, etc. So if we go in, we don't get the 90-second timer rule. If you wait here for 90 seconds, it makes no difference. These dungeons do not shut until they are being cleared, and it's a little while after that. But one thing we can do just to make it a bit safer, it's to ignore the first few mobs. So we just go straight past these, and we can still clear this afterwards and get all the loot. But when a ganker comes in and has a look and sees that we've ignored the first few mobs, probably not quite as many as this, you probably ignore the first 3 to 4, then they will think no one's in here and they would probably leave. Tip number 4. Okay, so one thing that's very important in Albion, particularly if you're involved in PvP, is inspecting the other players. So simply what you do, you can click on the player and then hit your hotkey that you have assigned to inspect. And we can see what gear they've got. That's really important. You can tell a lot from that, what stuff they're planning on doing potentially, whether they... in this case, look at this guy's gear, really good. Whether they have higher item level than you, etc. What you can do also, because this is so important, you can also put it onto a key that you're more happy with. Like, I think by default it's on Y, but you can go down here and assign it. I've got it on tab because I just wanted it really easily accessible. It's a very useful thing, and it's something you should make a habit of doing whenever you're in a PvP zone. Tip number 5, and basically going on from the same thing as inspecting, when you've got a player selected, you can also click on their stats. Now, it's very good when you're in a PvP zone to try and figure out whether they are intending on killing you or not. Now, in this instance, this player has 108 million fame for killing players, so you can tell that they are a PvPer. You might see someone's got very low PvP fame and think, oh well, they might not be doing that. So that's quite useful to know, and you just check that by looking at their stats. And furthermore, you can actually look at their kills. So this person, you can tell when their last kill was and whether they had any players with them. So for instance, you might be out in the roads and you see that this player has made numerous kills in the zone you're in and they have players with them, and you know they're not solo. So it's quite a useful thing to use. Tip 6. So looting quick is actually very important in Albion, because if you're in these PvP situations, you want to get the loot fast off a player you've killed. You want to do it quick, and you see players doing this incredibly quick. When you first start, you're like, how the hell do they do it that quick? And it's quite simple. You press shift and then click on the item you want to loot. Just like that. It's really only limited. Obviously, I'm old. My reactions are slow. So it's only limited by how quick you can click. So I don't click quick enough. But if you are quick, you can really loot fast, and it's really valuable. Tip number 7. Okay, something that's quite important. Say, for instance, like we went over earlier, if you're in a dungeon, you're waiting for that 90-second timer, and a player does come in, you might think, right, shall I fight this player or should I leave? And you want to know what gear they're in, you want to inspect them. If you click on them, that can instigate combat. So what you need to do, and this is just my recommendation, not everyone does this, go to game settings and tick this, double press to attack. This means you have to either press your space bar to attack someone or double click on them. So that will mean that you don't accidentally attack someone and get yourself in combat when you don't want to be. Okay, tip number 8. While we're looking at the game settings, something that I like to do, it's only a small thing, is I put my cursor to being blue. And I think it looks nicer. But aside from that, sometimes I find when I'm in a big fight, or a massive faction fight, I haven't really done much CVC, so, but those fights, sometimes I get like, where's my cursor? I'm not sure what my cursor is, and I find that the blue cursor stands out more. Maybe the gold one, but I find the standard iron one, it kind of blends into the background a bit more, so that can be a useful thing to do. Tip 9. Right, now we need to address the thorny issue of premium. And while Albion, to its credit, you can very easily grind silver to pay for it. So really, my opinion, just my opinion, is as a free-to-play game, it's really good because it isn't hard to do. But honestly, if you do think you're going to pay for premium with real money, this is the hardest premium that you will have to grind is your first month's. And if you do think you're ever going to pay premium for Albion, buy the first month. So, you played it for 3 days. You've used that 3 days that you got in the tutorial up. If you feel like you're going to play it and you're enjoying the game, that's the moment to buy premium. You probably won't need to buy premium ever again. I've only ever bought 1 month, and I've literally got loads of characters, and I've ground premium on all of them. Apart from one character, I bought premium for 1 month. So it is really important that if you do think you're ever going to pay for the game, don't do it after you ground that first month's premium. That's really hard. Do it in that first month. That will really help you out. And now to tip 10, the final tip, and the one I think is probably the most important for a new player. And I did go over this in the guide I did last week. Join a guild. I know some people like to play solo, and that's fair enough, just do that. But if you want to learn the game, join a guild, and even as important as joining that guild is get in their Discord. Like I said, I run my own guild, and the amount of players that don't join the Discord and therefore get no communication from the guild, no help, no grouping with anyone in the guild. So there's almost no point in them being in it. So do that. Join their Discord, get in their communications, let them help you, let them, have fun with the people that are playing the game. So definitely do that. And if you're just wondering what this place is, this Treasure Island, I used to stream the game, and I'm thinking of starting again, and this is where we do our giveaways from. So once a week I do a little giveaway where people get to get the loot from one of the chests, and that's just a little bit of fun. So anyway, that's it. I'm quite pleased. I think I've kept this video a bit shorter. Hopefully you won't get as bored as you did in the last one, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.